Hey guys, how's it going? It's your captain here, Yeehaw Yadam, and for today's video, we're going to be looking at Smoker. Now, Smoker didn't do as much as I wanted him to in set 2. Now, I know that that's a loaded statement, right? He did take a couple tops. He topped in Europe, got first place, got a couple of treasure cups, placings, but it wasn't really as rampant as I was expecting it to be. Cards like Borzolino, Kuzan, and Sakazuki just weren't enough to fully propel the deck into a winning game state. The fact that your leader for one Dawn can be a 7k is really, really powerful, and Katakuri shows that very well. But Smoker is more conditional than Katakuri, right? So you can't always be a 7k versus him. He also deals with not having enough counter power, although he can keep up tempo by making sure your opponent's board is clear of characters. It kind of struggles with the aggression that a very fast red deck can do. Every time I played Luffy or Zoro into Smoker, I didn't really feel too threatened by their characters, even though they can 2-for-1 me with like Sakazuki, they can do it with Kobe, they can go ahead and play the 10-drop, and all these very powerful cards. At the end of the day, they would have to pitch a card from their hand to be able to deal with one of my characters, and eventually, they just didn't have the hand size to deal with my aggression, and I was able to push through with the Rush key tag. Now, what happens in set 3? Well, the issue that Smoker originally had is the fact that you can't consistently see your Kuzans, and your Borzolinos, and all your powerful Navy characters. But in set 3, they finally get a Searcher. Now, it's not a Nami Searcher, but beggars can't be choosers. Now, brand new is a new card that says, on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to one Navy-type character other than brand new, and add it to your hand. And with the powerful assortment of Navy character-type cards, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... all of these are just Navy. Like, it searches basically the entire deck. It's very difficult for it to whiff, and you kind of don't need the 10 drop to win you the game anymore, because you can win off of the back of Fujitora. Fujitora being an 8 drop, allowing you to keep up Dawn for Impact Wave is huge, right? For a deck like this. Smoker being able to not be KO'd by effects. Fukuro, Borzolino, we have a lot of characters that just are super duper sticky, can keep up tempo, and can eventually just push for lethal. I do think this is a very, again, not a refined list, but I think it's a very solid starting point so that we can go ahead and see exactly what Smoker can do. So let's go check out what he can do in the next game and see if the Smoker captain dude is really gaming. All right, so we're back, and yeah, I don't know what Impel Down cards Blue got, but maybe that's just my lack of awareness. So we're going to mulligan this away as our hand is just a little too hefty, and our opponent let us go first, which is bizarre, to say the least. I'll go and attach a Dawn to my leader, and I'll pass the turn. There's really not much we can do. I mean, the deck can play on odds, and it can play on evens. It's just weird that Emporio would opt to go second. Starts with the Law, places the new Kama land. Will he be tapping the new Kama land? He will. New Kama land will draw them a card, and they will discard a 2k. Yes. Draw Dawn. We'll just, we could go ahead and play this turn, but if we go ahead and do that, I'm just going to go ahead and attach a Dawn here. Give this -1, and I will attack for 7. He probably blocks with the Law. If he blocks with the Law, I just deploy a Monkey D Garp. If he doesn't block with the Garp, with the Law, I still deploy Monkey D Garp, so I'm kind of cool with that either way. See what he go ahead and does. He can't really play 1-drops into Smoker. Now, he'd have to give me a bit of his hand size in order to keep this attack from going through. He can also just take it, but that's not something that Emporio usually wants to do, right? Especially if we're new Kama landing a 2k. That just means that his hand is probably like 5-drop, 7-drop. Again, I don't know what Impel Down cards come in set 3, so maybe that's just my mistake. And after playing Emporio recently, I'm not like a super Emporio like aficionado, but I kind of know what that deck wants to do. So they're taking quite some time here to decide what they want to do in terms of my attack. They go ahead and let it through, which is also bizarre. I'm going to go ahead and deploy the Monkey D Garp, which now kind of gives me a ton of tempo because I can always Smoker to reduce this and then Garp to punch, which is really, really nice. Can't really complain when your opponent just allows you to hit them. It goes ahead and draws off the new Kama land. And will they be pitching more than one card? Sometimes you kind of have to with this deck. I'll draw one, and I think they're going to go ahead and decide now. They might take some time here. They go ahead and dump a 7-drop. Now, the 7-drop is really important in this matchup because that's kind of like what your deck wants to do. It just wants to summon multiples of those cards. It's going to go ahead and summon a Buggy. Buggy will go ahead and draw the Inazuma, the Scissors blocker, and then he'll go ahead and play the Flamingo blocker. So yeah, you want to search before you play the Flamingo, which is really, really nice because now you can know after you search exactly what's in the top of your deck. He's not even going to attack, which is also bizarre, and he's going to pass it up to me. So if I want to go ahead and do the Monkey D card play, which I think I just kind of want to, it feels kind of nice. I'm going to go ahead and use this to... decrease this to give this a 7k buff. I'm going to go ahead and attach to Dawn here. I'm going to go ahead and swing at leader, destroy this. Probably should have gone 7-7 if I'm being honest, because I don't see myself using my Dawn in any other way. He might even block this with the Flamingo. I don't know. He has a lot of options here. My plays have been very bizarre as well, so don't you worry. Even though I was talking a lot of smack about this being a tempo deck, my hand has really just done nothing. But next turn, I will certainly summon Sakazuki, right? And I will use my leader ability and Sakazuki in order to remove something off the board. Use my leader on the Buggy, and we should be in a really solid spot. He opts to defend that, so I'm just going to hit him really hard. I'm just going to go 9. I could summon another Garp, but that's just going to tax me a lot of Dawn, and he actually gives me the blocker there, which is more than what we asked for, right? Because this Buggy is going to trigger this. This is going to delete whatever he comes and brings onto the board, which will probably be an Inazuma, or did he pitch it? No, he pitched the Inazuma, so we have no awareness of what's in their hand now. But we were able to deal with a lot of blockers early, so that's going to be nice for us in the late game, because the deck kind of struggles if it doesn't see blockers. It eventually just... eventually just doesn't have enough counter power to deal with the amount of pressure that people push through, right? Because if you're at 2 cards in hand, the worst that it can be if you have no Dawn up, which the deck doesn't really want to leave up Dawn, it just kind of gets punched really, really hard, right? You go 7-7 and they can't deal with it. So he goes ahead and summons Monkey D. Luffy, bounces my Garp. Gaming. And he's going to go ahead and swing at me for 5. I'm not going to block this just because I want cards in hand. I don't really know what's going on with my deck here, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and draw a card. That's a nice card to have. I'm going to go ahead and attach a Dawn to Smoker. And that's going to go ahead and I'm going to use his effect because Sakazuki can only go ahead and KO cards of a cost of 5 or less. So it's the Monkey D. Luffy is outside of that range, but if I go ahead and use my ability to reduce the cost, then he all of a sudden becomes possible to be removed. Now, all of my hand is actually 2k, so I'm going to dump the Monkey D. Garp and remove the Luffy, and I'll pass my turn. Now, I should have attacked them. That was a mistake. I forgot I didn't attack yet. But I would have attacked and then summoned Sakazuki, which would have maybe procced a card out of his hand, but it's irrelevant. I do think this game has basically wrapped up. So we'll go ahead and see what he decides to do. He's going to go ahead and play Luffy. He could bounce his Buggy, which is kind of cool. That's something that I learned that you can do with the deck. Replay the Buggy, try to find the 7-drop because you're in desperate need of this 7-drop, and you've already dumped 2. Oh, Lord, that's not going to be good for you. It's going to hit me for 7. I'm going to let that go through. Ooh, brand new's a good card. It's going to draw 2. Gonna draw some Dawn, and I see, ooh, this card's also good. Man, now we're starting to see cards that are just good. I'm gonna go and attach a Dawn here, use my effect to reduce this. Attack for 7, attack for 7, and now since he has only 2 cards in hand, he can't really efficiently deal with this. This is where you're gonna start seeing, right? Hit a card, hit for 7 again. If he wants to give me 2 cards out of his hand, that's perfectly fine with me as well. He takes it. I'm going to go ahead and deploy Kuzan. Kuzan's going to draw me a Sakazuki. Now, I could theoretically play a Borzolino. Borzolino would then, cause him to pitch 2 cards to go ahead and bounce it. I can also leave this up to do nothing. So I'm actually just going to play the Borzolino here and pass, right? As the Borzolino may proc some weird interaction off of this Luffy where he wants to pitch 2 cards to bounce it. And honestly, I'm kind of down to take a double strike. Not afraid of him whatsoever. And then after I deal with this, I can just set up a bunch of blockers and just chill. Now, they do have a lot of cards in hand, and I do have a pretty formidable board, so they do have to consider that when they make these next following turns. The worst possible thing that can happen for me is that he goes ahead and plays a 7-drop. That 7-drop is just so good. But if he plays the 7-drop, then he's not clearing my Sakazuki. Sure, that doesn't necessarily do much for me. It's actually perfectly in range of Impact Wave, so maybe I should have kept Impact Wave available in the back pocket. So we'll see. We'll see. Plays a Law. So he has a couple blockers here, and this is what we were talking about. This is what the deck wants to do. Now he can go ahead and place a bit of Dawn under this Buggy, place an Azuma. Still has 2 Dawn available. Swings a 7. Will he go ahead and pitch 2? Opts not to. I will block and give him a 2k. And then if he wants to swing at the Borzolino, he has to invest the rest of his Dawn to swing into it, and I will just give him another 2k. And it goes back to my turn. And that's not what you want to hear. So we'll draw some cards. Oof, that card is really good too. So we'll place 2 Dawn here. We'll swing here. And we'll minus here? Who knows? I do want to keep some Dawn available this turn, so probably run out a Smoker. We'll go 7 again. Wow, he lets that go through. It's kind of crazy. So I have 8 total Dawn to work with. 5, 6, 7, so I can still play this. I'll go ahead and play it, use my effect to go ahead and reduce this. I'll swing for 7. Can't block this, so you have to use a blocker. He opts not to. I could also, since I'm not in fear of getting destroyed by that card, I could play this and this as 5 Dawn, because the Smoker is never going to double hit, and it's not going to really do much. I can go ahead and also pitch him off the Sakazuki, but I think I might just brand new. I'll brand new to look for a Navy character card. This is not happening, it's not happening. I'll trash the rest of them, play a little Chapapa, and I'll pass. So, let's see what he opts to do here. I think they're in quite a pickle. Quite a pickle. Not only do I have the board, I have the hand, and I have the life. And that's unfortunate because I do think wholeheartedly that Ivankov has a good Smoker matchup, because if you're able to go Ivankov, you're in a really solid spot, but he just opted to trash them instead, which is bizarre. He's going to go ahead and draw with the New Kamaland, double pitch New Kamaland. Why didn't New Kamaland have the trigger you can play this card from life, just by the way? Maybe that's too good. He goes ahead and attaches 2 Dawn, swings a 7 at my lead, which is even more bizarre. What does that mean? What does it mean? I think I'm gonna it's just too good of an Impact Wave, right? I was planning on taking it, but that's just too good. I don't think any of these cards attack me. So that's just the only card that's going to be able to Impact Wave. Really? You got it. Pain and suffering. The pain, it's unlucky. We'll go ahead and reduce this by 1, making him a 7. We'll attach 2 here. I can just move quickly through these turns because it just doesn't matter anymore. If you want to block with this because he's a 7k, you totally can. Doesn't really matter. Gives me a card. Now he's forced to block with either with this. Keep up this. We go this. He has to give this or lose a blocker. That's perfectly fine. And then he has to block with that. And then we go 5 and we go Chapapi for the win. Chapapi. Cool. And that's kind of what happened to me all tournament. It just kept hitting me with good numbers. And the deck really can't do much. It has to spam blockers, and if it doesn't do it, you're in for a bad time. But either way, I think that was a really good showcasing of just how powerful the deck can be. Even though I had a really bizarre start and made questionable turns, the tempo that the deck provides, just look at my hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The versatility of things that I can do with it. The fact that I do have this on the board means that they can't play a Whitebeard. The fact that I can search. I could have gotten a Fujitora. I had a bunch of 2Ks. I don't know. The deck feels kind of good. Maybe I'm coping, but I'm excited to see exactly how Smoker can do in the next meta. And honestly, the Altar Leader isn't too expensive, so I may be looking to pick one up soon and check them out in the next set. As always, guys, if you like this sort of content, make sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below where we can talk about just what you think Smoker can do. Is he a good deck in the next set, or is Rob Lucci just the black deck of choice? And as always, guys, if you haven't joined the Pirate Crew and are considering subscribing, hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any more One Piece content. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Little Piece.